In the early 1900s, Italian immigrants came to New York's Little Italy, seeking a new life amidst hardship and poverty. They brought with them deep culinary traditions. In the crowded tenements, food, especially pasta, became a vital anchor and a symbol of survival, community, and identity. Every humble dish prepared in those small, steamy kitchens kept the spirit of home alive. Let's discover the 25 pasta dishes Italian immigrants really cooked in New York's Little Italy. Number 1. Spaghetti al pomodoro. In Little Italy, this simple spaghetti with tomato sauce became more than a meal. It was a lifeline. Born in Naples, it followed families across the Atlantic, carried in recipe books and memory. Fresh tomatoes were rare at first, but canned versions from local markets soon filled the gap. Garlic, olive oil, and a pinch of basil made magic from simplicity. Mothers cooked it in iron pots that steamed up tiny kitchens. It reminded everyone of home, even as skyscrapers rose outside. The scent of tomato and basil meant one thing: hope still lived here. Number 2. Pasta e fagioli. More a hearty soup than a traditional pasta dish, pasta fazool was a staple, stretching meager ingredients to feed many. Originating from various regions, particularly central and southern Italy, it was a peasant dish perfected through generations. Its popularity among immigrants stemmed from its affordability and nutritional value, perfect for hardworking families. Dried beans, small pasta shapes, like ditalini, garlic, a little olive oil, and sometimes a bit of pork fat made up the core. It was often a main meal, served steaming hot in large bowls, a testament to making much from little. This dish spoke of resilience, warmth, and the ingenious spirit of Italian cooks. The thick, comforting aroma filled tenement apartments, chasing away the chill of a New York winter. Number 3. Aglio e olio. This deceptively simple dish of garlic and oil became a go-to when other ingredients were scarce. Hailing from Naples, it was the ultimate expression of Italian culinary minimalism and flavor. For immigrants facing poverty, it was a godsend, requiring only pantry staples that were readily available and inexpensive. Spaghetti or linguine was tossed with fragrant sautéed garlic and olive oil, sometimes with a sprinkle of chili flakes. It was a dish often prepared late at night after long shifts, quick to cook and deeply satisfying. Aglio e olio represented resourcefulness and the ability to find joy in the most basic provisions. The sharp, pungent scent of garlic infused the air, a humble yet potent promise of a meal. Number 4. Pasta con seitai, pasta with chickpeas. A protein-rich and economical meal, pasta with chickpeas, was a common sight on immigrant tables. This hearty combination has roots in southern Italian regions, where chickpeas were a plentiful and affordable legume. Its popularity in New York soared because dried chickpeas were cheap to buy in bulk and offered vital sustenance. Small pasta shapes, garlic, olive oil, and sometimes a simple tomato broth were combined with the creamy chickpeas. It was a wholesome, filling dish, often a single-pot meal that required minimal fuss to prepare. This dish symbolized practicality and the clever use of every available resource. The earthy, savory aroma of chickpeas and garlic was a comforting constant in many homes. Number 5. Pasta con le sarde, pasta with sardines. While more common in Sicily, this flavorful and inexpensive dish found its way into New York's Italian enclaves. Sardines, readily available canned and affordable, made it a practical choice for immigrant families. Its combination of salty fish, wild fennel or regular fennel, pine nuts, and sometimes raisins offered a unique taste of home. Bucatini or spaghetti served as the perfect vehicle for the rich, complex sauce. This dish was a reminder of the sea, often prepared with a sense of tradition and longing for the old country. The distinct scent of the ocean, mingled with sweet and savory notes, evoked distant memories of Sicilian sun. Number 6. Cacio e pepe. Before it became a modern sensation, cacio e pepe was a shepherd's meal from Rome, beloved for its simplicity and robustness. It gained traction in Little Italy because its ingredients, pecorino cheese, black pepper, and pasta, were durable, accessible, and nourishing. Spaghetti or tonarelli was coated in a creamy sauce made from the starchy pasta water, grated pecorino romano, and freshly cracked black pepper. It required skill to emulsify perfectly, but the result was a rich, satisfying dish from only a few elements. This dish represented the genius of Roman cooking, making something extraordinary from the humblest beginnings. The sharp, peppery aroma of the pecorino filled the small kitchens, promising a savory delight. Number 7. Spaghetti alle vongole, spaghetti with clams. A coastal classic from Naples, spaghetti with clams became a festive or Sunday meal for those immigrants near the fish markets. Fresh clams were often more affordable than meat and offered a taste of the sea. The sauce was typically white, made with garlic, olive oil, white wine, if available, and parsley, allowing the briny clams to shine. Families would gather, slurping up the clam-infused strands of spaghetti, often saving this dish for special occasions. It represented a small luxury, a reminder of the bounty of the sea and the joy of a good meal. The fresh oceanic scent of clams mingling with garlic was a treasured aroma on special days. Number 8. Pasta con aglio, olio e peperoncino. This was aglio e olio's spicier cousin, a simple yet fiery dish for those who craved a kick. Its origins are widespread across southern Italy, where chili peppers were a common garden crop. Immigrants embraced it for its ability to add significant flavor to the cheapest ingredients and provide warmth. Spaghetti or linguine was tossed with garlic, olive oil, and a generous pinch of red pepper flakes, sometimes toasted. It was often a quick, late-night meal, easy to prepare after a long, exhausting day. This dish embodied the fiery spirit of Italian regional cooking, a burst of flavor in lean times. The piquant, garlicky heat was a welcome sensation, awakening tired palates. Number 9. Pasta al burro, pasta with butter. While seemingly plain, buttered pasta was a foundational comfort food, especially for children or when someone was ill. More common in northern Italy, it adapted into a basic dish when other sauces were too expensive or unavailable. Egg noodles or short pasta shapes were simply tossed with melted butter and a sprinkle of Parmesan or pecorino cheese. It was often the first dish taught to young girls learning to cook, a fundamental step in their culinary education. This gentle dish symbolized simple comfort, a mother's care, and a return to basics. The sweet, creamy scent of melted butter on warm pasta was a pure taste of childhood. Number 10. Pasta e piselli, pasta with peas. A springtime favorite or dish made with canned peas when fresh were scarce. Pasta with peas offered a touch of green. Common in various regions, it was a humble way to add vegetables to the diet. Its popularity in New York relied on the availability of affordable fresh peas in season or inexpensive canned peas year-round. Ditalini or other small pasta shapes were cooked with peas, onion, a little prosciutto or pancetta, if affordable, and a light tomato broth. It was a lighter, sweeter alternative to heavier bean dishes, a sign of changing seasons or a welcome variety. This dish brought a whisper of renewal and freshness to the immigrant table. The sweet perfume of peas and onion was a welcome, gentle aroma. Number 11. Gnocchi di patate al pomodoro. While not technically pasta, these potato dumplings were a beloved alternative, often appearing on Thursdays or Sundays. Originating in northern Italy, gnocchi became popular because potatoes were cheap, filling, and readily available in New York. Simple potato, flour, and egg dough was rolled and cut into tender dumplings, then served with a light tomato sauce. The process of making gnocchi was often a family affair, hands working together to create the soft pillows. They symbolize celebration and the joy of communal effort in the kitchen. The delicate aroma of cooked potatoes and simmering tomato sauce was a harbinger of a special meal. Number 12. Pasta con sugo di ragù, meat sauce. On Sundays or special occasions, a rich meat ragu was a centerpiece, simmered for hours. While ragu styles vary wildly across Italy, southern Italian versions, often pork or beef-based, predominated in New York. Immigrants made this dish a labor of love, using cheaper cuts of meat and stretching them with long cooking times. Tomatoes, garlic, onion, and herbs, slowly cooked down with pork ribs, sausage, or beef chuck. It was a grand affair, feeding the whole extended family, a proud display of culinary heritage. This majestic sauce embodied family gatherings, celebration, and the ultimate expression of Italian hospitality. The deep, savory perfume of slow-cooked meat and tomato was the unmistakable scent of Sunday dinner. Number 13. Pasta con cavolfiore, pasta with cauliflower. An ingenious and thrifty dish, pasta with cauliflower made the most of an often overlooked vegetable. Common in southern Italy, particularly Sicily, it traveled with immigrants seeking to replicate familiar flavors. Cauliflower was inexpensive and abundant, making it a perfect candidate for a filling and flavorful meal. Florets of cauliflower were sautéed with garlic, olive oil, and sometimes anchovies, then tossed with pasta and a sprinkle of breadcrumbs. It was a clever way to elevate humble ingredients into a satisfying, nutritious dish. This pasta showed the immigrants' ability to transform the basic into something delicious and memorable. The slightly sulfurous yet comforting smell of cooked cauliflower and garlic filled the air. Number 14. Pasta con fave, pasta with fava beans. Fresh fava beans, when in season, were a cherished ingredient, signifying spring's arrival. A very old dish, especially from southern Italy, it used one of the earliest cultivated legumes. Immigrants used favas as a seasonal treat or dried versions for year-round protein. Fresh fava beans were shelled and cooked with pasta, garlic, olive oil, and sometimes a bit of pork or pancetta. It was a dish that celebrated the cycles of nature and the simple pleasures of seasonal eating. This pasta carried the taste of ancient traditions, linking families to their agrarian past. The earthy, slightly sweet aroma of fava beans was a true harbinger of spring. Number 15. Macaroni al forno, baked macaroni. This was a celebratory, often layered baked pasta dish, perfect for feeding a crowd. Varying widely by region, baked pasta was a staple for special events across Italy. In New York, it was an excellent dish for communal meals, using inexpensive pasta and whatever cheese or meat was affordable. Large pasta shapes like ziti or rigatoni were baked with tomato sauce, ground meat if available, mozzarella or ricotta, and parmesan. It was a dish that signaled festivity and abundance, often prepared for holidays or Sunday family gatherings. This hearty bake represented warmth, sharing, and the generosity of Italian homes. The bubbly, cheesy, tomato-rich aroma from the oven was irresistible. Number 16. Pasta con lenticchie, pasta with lentils. Much like pasta e fagioli, pasta with lentils was a highly nutritious and very affordable meal. This humble dish has deep roots in Italian peasant cooking, especially in the central and southern regions. Lentils were cheap, stored well, and provided essential protein and fiber, making them ideal for immigrant diets. Small pasta shapes, lentils, garlic, onion, and a touch of tomato in a savory broth made a wholesome meal. It was a testament to making ends meet while still providing nourishing food for the family. This simple pasta spoke of practicality and enduring strength. The earthy, comforting scent of simmering lentils was a familiar household smell. Number 17. Pasta alla norma, pasta with eggplant. A Sicilian classic, this vibrant dish made generous use of affordable eggplant. Though specific to Sicily, its core ingredients, eggplant, tomatoes, basil, and salted ricotta, were adaptable to New York's markets. Eggplant was often grown in small backyard gardens or purchased cheaply, making this a popular and substantial vegetarian option. Fried or roasted eggplant cubes were tossed with rigatoni or macaroni in a rich tomato sauce, often topped with grated ricotta salata. It was a dish of sunshine and bold flavors, a direct link to the warmth of southern Italy. The savory, slightly bitter aroma of fried eggplant mingled with sweet basil was truly evocative. Number 18. Minestra maritata, wedding soup with pasta. While primarily a soup, small pasta shapes were often a key component, making it a nourishing, symbolic meal. Originating in Campania, married soup referred to the marriage of flavors between meat and greens. Immigrants would make this hearty soup for warmth and sustenance, often using cheaper cuts of meat and seasonal greens. Escarole, chicory, meatballs, often made from scraps, and small pasta like ditalini were simmered in a rich broth. It was a dish of celebration and tradition, bringing families together around a generous pot. The rich, savory aroma of simmering broth and greens was a deeply comforting smell. Number 19. Pasta al forno con melanzane, baked pasta with eggplant. This was another baked pasta variation, layering noodles with eggplant and cheese for a rich meal. Similar to pasto alla norma but baked, it was a practical way to feed many with affordable vegetables. Eggplant was a favored ingredient due to its accessibility and hearty texture when baked. Layers of pasta, like ziti, fried eggplant, tomato sauce, mozzarella, and pecorino, were baked until golden and bubbly. It was a substantial and satisfying dish, often brought to potlucks or served at large family gatherings. This rich bake promised warmth, indulgence, and shared joy. The bubbling cheese and fragrant eggplant created an irresistible aroma. Number 20. Pasta con zucca, pasta with pumpkin balsamic squash. In the cooler months, pasta with pumpkin or winter squash was a comforting seasonal dish. Common in northern Italy, particularly Emilia-Romagna and Veneto, it utilized readily available gourds. Pumpkins and squashes were inexpensive, kept well, and added a creamy, sweet element to pasta dishes. Cubes of pumpkin or squash were sautéed with garlic, onion, and sometimes a bit of sage, then tossed with short pasta shapes like ditalini or orecchiette. It was a dish that embraced the harvest, bringing the flavors of autumn into the immigrant home. The sweet, earthy scent of roasted squash mingled with savory herbs was pure autumn comfort. Number 21. Pasta con acciughe e mollica, pasta with anchovies and breadcrumbs. This intensely flavorful dish made brilliant use of humble ingredients. Predominantly from southern Italy, it exemplified the art of creating deep flavor from a minimal pantry. Anchovies were a cheap, potent source of umami, while stale breadcrumbs added texture and substance, ideal for poor families. Spaghetti or linguine was tossed with anchovies melted in olive oil, garlic, and toasted breadcrumbs, often spiced with chili. It was a quick, powerful dish, providing a burst of salty, savory satisfaction when meat was scarce. This pasta represented ingenuity and the ability to elevate the simplest ingredients. The pungent, briny aroma of anchovies was surprisingly enticing. Number 22. Laganese, wide pasta with chickpeas. A very ancient pasta. Lagogne are wide, flat noodles, often made without eggs, served with chickpeas. This is a very old and traditional dish from Lucania, Basilicata, and parts of Calabria, often considered a precursor to lasagna. Its popularity in New York rested on the fact that lasagne could be made with just flour and water, and chickpeas were cheap and filling. The wide pasta was cooked with chickpeas, garlic, olive oil, and often a touch of tomato. It was a profoundly comforting and substantial meal, steeped in the oldest Italian traditions. This dish was a tangible link to the distant past, nourishing both body and soul. The rustic, earthy aroma of chickpeas and handmade pasta was deeply satisfying. Number 23. Pasta e broccoli. A simple yet nutritious dish, pasta with broccoli was a common way to incorporate greens. Popular in southern Italy, particularly Campania and Puglia, it showcased humble vegetables. Broccoli was readily available and affordable, making it a perfect component for an everyday meal. Orecchiette, or short pasta, was tossed with steamed or sautéed broccoli florets, garlic, and olive oil, sometimes with a touch of chili. It was a healthy and flavorful option, often served during Lent or as a light supper. This pasta celebrated the bounty of the earth and the simplicity of good ingredients. The fresh, slightly earthy scent of cooked broccoli and garlic was a wholesome aroma. Number 24. Pasta con la salsa di noci, pasta with walnut sauce. Though more common in Liguria, this rich, creamy sauce was adapted when nuts were accessible. Walnuts, while not always the cheapest, could be found and provided a luxurious texture and flavor. The sauce, made from walnuts, garlic, bread, sometimes soaked in milk, and olive oil, coated delicate pasta like trinette or trophy. It was a more upscale dish, perhaps reserved for a slightly better time or as a treat. This pasta offered a different kind of richness, a taste of a lesser-known but equally cherished Italian tradition. The nutty, garlicky aroma of the sauce was truly distinct and inviting. Number 25. Pasta con patate. A humble, hearty, and incredibly filling dish, pasta with potatoes was the epitome of immigrant resourcefulness. Widespread in southern Italy, it was a way to stretch ingredients and create a substantial meal. Potatoes were arguably the cheapest and most readily available staple, making this a cornerstone of the immigrant diet. Diced potatoes were cooked with garlic, olive oil, a touch of tomato or not, and small pasta shapes like tubetti or mixed short pasta, often in a soupy consistency. It was the ultimate comfort food, providing warmth and satiety with minimal cost. This dish embodied the unwavering ability to nourish a family against all odds. The starchy, comforting smell of potatoes and pasta was the scent of survival. These weren't just meals. They were acts of love, resilience, and unwavering hope. In the crowded kitchens of New York's Little Italy, Italian immigrants didn't just cook food. They preserved a culture, nourished their families, and built a foundation for future generations. These humble pasta dishes, born from necessity and forged in the fires of hard work, shaped not only the identity of a vibrant community, but eventually woven their way into the very fabric of American cuisine itself. From the simplest aglio e olio to the grand Sunday ragu, each strand of pasta carried a story of survival, of love that crossed an ocean, and of a family's enduring spirit that continues to resonate, even today, in every savory bite. They came, they struggled, and they cooked. And in doing so, they left an indelible mark, proving that true wealth isn't always found in gold, but often in a warm plate of pasta shared with those you love.